오야 다 치료 요소 조바텔라 다시텔라 라와타네 다 드링간조 뭐더니 뭐세 밀리아보데 간디 신도카르 뭐세 야보 간디 신도카르 다티코 테제시스.
So then, first of all, Tashi Dele, hello to all of my Dharma friends. So then, today, as usual, I will talk about how to take this precious human body, how to take this precious human life and make it useful.
오다더니 가르소 보게더니 가르세가레 다 강가로로 치글레가 자이나레 지테글레가 자이나 비모서 조바데 조조 세기드니 강가로로 같으니 그게 내가 기고야고 지나게 치드레가 자이나.
So then, all of us, whenever we engage in whatever kind of task, whether it is a dharma task, whether it is a worldly task, then from the bottom of our heart, we have this wish for happiness.
아까사라와서 오다 던디지 이자 당가로서 뭐지게 샤와이나요. 뭐지게 소소더니 농게 샤와서는 뭔데 던디지나요. 아까사라와서 오다 기고ኝ네 거나 내가 그저 여보지는 거야. 손지도 손지서 뭐 걸어서 나로서 너무 여보지 내라보게 돈이 지지지야. 행안주부터 알레비 같이 뭐지.
So then, if we are somebody who wants to be able to achieve this happiness, then what we need to understand are how to accumulate the causes of happiness. And it is these causes that we need to accumulate for ourselves, for our families, and so forth, that the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas explain to us. So I'd like to explain these in an easy way.
니네 그게 기고 템보지도 야보지 마셔봐라 하고 살아왔어 아니 저도 니스 그게 내가 제야 제가 소노토도 저때 단단히 되지.
So then, of course, if we want to be able to achieve this happiness, to work towards it in a good and stable way, then, of course, we need to pay attention directly to the work that we need to do, the task we need to accomplish.
아까사라와 대돈 연돌라 세계 소노토도 야보 소노토 야라와 페미소마 템보지 야보 유야 내가 제야 저 되지.
And then, together with that, we really need to examine our way of thinking. Specifically, we need to bring forth a way of thinking that aims to bring benefit to others.
아까사라와 다 대돈 연돌라 안조 하마고 알았더니 시고 토마토 알았더니 나로서 기고 용어도 마요. 아까사라와 퍼게 기고 용야 그자 사회 맞아 중엔다 마다치나로서 세는 거야.
And then, in addition to that, there is something that we perhaps don't know as well, something that we can't see clearly or directly, which is that all of the happiness that we experience, this arises from causes or imprints within the mind.
아까사라와서 당니스 세계 논론에 소노 야보도야 같이 뭐 저대지로 왔어. 대도 년도를 바자면 봐. 판매와서야. 바자 야보르지야. 아까사라와서 다 세야 되더니 내가 제야 되고 가할레비 같이 못 지고.
So, what can we do about this situation directly? Well, the direct thing that we can do is to change our way of thinking. So, this is very important. And in addition to that, we can strive to decrease the negative imprints within our mind, and we can engage in actions to strengthen and ripen the positive imprints or tendencies within our mind.
아까사라와서 다 던디지 자 더니 가로서 다 대프게 야보지냐. 아까사라와서 오다 요이 치두세니 치동보 내 곳이 도시라 그수트 때좀바 사태 아니 어떤 가로서 릴러보고 돈에 담는지 내가 제야지가 차송만 많이 나요.
So then, in order to kind of bring us to the Dharma and to begin in an effective way, we can start with something simple. So we speak in terms of the preliminaries, we can speak of 6 preliminary practices. And the first of these is something very simple. It is to clean the place of practice well and excellently arrange representations of holy body, holy speech, and holy mind.
아까사라와서 다 노지 나로서 가르세가 치키레키이나 그수트 때좀바 차송하지가 대가시 많이 나요. 인민제 대치레케 레베리아마 나로서 노지 주가 야롱게 될라 인민제 소소 kumbato tsoma yabo stimela hakusarawa so ta timchi.
So then, in terms of these 6 preparatory practices, of course, the portion about arranging representations of holy body, speech, and mind, this is something that practitioners would engage in. But even if one is not a believer in Buddhism necessarily, one can definitely implement part of this practice, which is that when one gets up in the morning, one can clean one's environment, clean one's place of practice very well.
아까 살아와서 왔다 대 되니 바쳐 여보야 세야 바쳐 냠바 바 메마즈야 그치다 내가 제야 대도 년도 할레비 되니 여보서
So in terms of engaging in this practice of the cleaning, then if we engage in it properly, this can help to activate the positive imprints within our mind stream. And similarly, it can help to decrease the strength of those negative imprints or tendencies.
아까 살아와서 왔다 빼나 손지 쪼된 데가 아까 살아와서 왔다 손지 쪼된 데가 알아서 강에 강가 매와서야 내와 땐데 대왕로야 연바시 세아지노지
So then, for example, Buddha Shakyamuni, in terms of us being able to get rid of our suffering completely and to be able to find a meaningful, lasting happiness, to help us achieve this, he taught the teaching of the 4 Noble Truths.
오다 던지게 된 것이 따다도 말했더니 이나요 대둔다고 내려와지 자나 할 레베더니 소소 그게 묘래는 거야 지도 여보지 자야지가.
So then, for all of us, in terms of this first part of the first of the 6 practices of cleaning the place of practice well, or indeed cleaning one's home, cleaning one's environment well, then there is a way to connect this practice with a contemplation on the 4 Noble Truths. So, of course, it doesn't connect in an exact way, but it is kind of a nice connection to make in order to be able to understand this easily.
아까 살아와서 어당이 단다세 대한테 덴바지도 자니 시에 대한테 드세 땐데 매바용 말했어. 아까 살아와서 가르레서나 나도 노지 요이치 동보대 내 곳이 도시라 그 수티 때 좀바 아세다 할레비 폐 전보지도 이제 뭐지 숨이야.
And so then, in terms of our discussion today, my wishing to connect the practice of the 4 Noble Truths with cleaning one's place of practice or one's environment, this is not without reason, because it is connected to the first of these 6 preparatory practices, which is very powerful, which is to clean the place of practice well and arrange excellently representations of holy body, holy speech, and holy mind.
아까 살아와서 어다 할 레비 삐다보 여보서는 또 대제바이나 아니 롱게 셈 주마차야 아니 연제 셈 주마차야 기고차야 동안자와 아까 살아와서 어떤 한노 가완자와 아니 그게 주말가기 하면 뭐야 알아왔어 그래서 아니 가고차야.
So then, in terms of cleaning the room, in terms of the benefits, the first benefit that one can experience is one can achieve the causes of purifying one's mind. And the second thing that one can achieve is that one can accomplish purifying the minds of others. So in addition to this practice, it is said that the deities of the environment where one lives will be pleased by that practice, especially those deities who rejoice in the practice of ethics.
오땅아로서 이나였더니 시와니 시야 시와지말에 이나였더니 그게 야벌 시야 하고 살아와서 오다 던지가 야 나도 말 시와 이나였다 보게 그래서 좀 야벌은 도토야 오다 던지가 배워 먹었은 거야 그래서 야부 차서 제다나.
And then also, if we engage in this practice of cleaning correctly, then we can create the causes for in future lifetimes to have a good situation in the future. So that would mean, for example, having a human rebirth or being reborn in the Deva realms, in the celestial realms, for example.
아까 살아와서 오다 땡아로서 노지 가디 이나였다 차선도 많이 나요 소소 kumbat 좀 와서 그야도 다 대르진 알아서 몽치 알 것이도 알아왔어. 내가 지금 알아왔어. 이제 이제 대표에 대해서 비도하고 저 여보지 손으로 돈 내가 제토바이나 할레비 니까를 패봐. 아니 패도 자치 못진 거야지. 여보지 알아왔어.
So then, in terms of this kind of contemplation, it's useful because cleaning our environments, cleaning our room and our home is something that all of us have to do. So if we can take this ordinary task and think about it well, think about it in the right way, and use it in order to accumulate positive causes, positive karma, then this is something, very skillful.
다 덴바지도 자네 릴라워치 간조 알레냐레치 릴라워치 계시바 이나스 게 자네 할레비 좀 야보 자네 소소로 보게 끼고 차야지 된데 야 좀 차야지 알아봤어 실로 이나인 좀 세계 놀러 오다 들이 좀 야보 자 야보래 좀 만다고지야 까 디딜라 덴바지에는 포장 고된다고
Gokten. So then, so then, in terms of the practice of cleaning the room, then how does this connect with the Four Noble Truths? Well, for example, we can think about as we clean the outer environment, it becomes free of stains. And similarly, as we clean, we also imagine that as we clean the environment, we are slowly cleaning our mind. And then once the environment and the mind are clean, this is similar to true cessations within the Four Noble Truths. It's similar to true cessations. Yeah. So this is an easy way to explain, but if you think about it, if the outer environment is clean, and at least for that moment, if the inner space of our mind is clean, then this is very similar to true cessations. So in terms of the actual action of cleaning, for example, the different types of cleaning you can do, if we take sweeping with a broom, for example, this sweeping of the place with the broom is the method of purification, and so in terms of the Four Noble Truths, this is similar to true paths. So similarly, when one is sleeping, if one thinks about it well, one can imagine that in addition to that outer action of sleeping, one is also sweeping the dust within one's mind, the dust of the afflictions such as attachment, anger, and so forth. So we have, of course, within our minds many negative kinds of dust, for example, attachment and so forth. And if as we sweep the outer environment, we imagine that I am also sweeping my mind, this really becomes a practice of true paths within the Four Noble Truths.
실로도 달라먹어 왔어. 달라먹어 될 때는 놀 기고 매봐 자 어다 소설 가리기나 세퍼서 두고 자야 저와 강해가 먹어 주는 것도 왔어. 따다 너무 따다 내가 지금이야.
And we can see also that in terms of the relationship between that outer dust in our environment or the outer uncleanliness in our delusions, we see that the dustier or sort of the more unclean our outer environment is, the more sort of narrow-minded the mind becomes, the more afflictions are arising. So we definitely see that there is a connection between the kind of uncleanliness of our outer environment and the state of our mind. So then in terms of the dust, which is in the environment, in our outer environment, a place of practice or our home, before we clean that dust or dirt away, this dust is similar to true sufferings within the Four Noble Truths. And of course, that outer dust is also similar to the inner dust of the suffering states of mind, the unwholesome states of mind. Yeah.
그지 되면 나오죠.
And in terms of all of the dust and the garbage within our environment, in terms of the activities and so forth that led to that accumulation of dust or dirt, these could be seen as similar to true origins in that formulation of the Four Noble Truths.
어따때 놀라요. 대노지 손으로 도나 집어지 줘야 되나. 노 강연다 만나가로서 그래서 뭐 두아스 대지 강가 알러지 녀문다 만나라 샤와라 되는 요한 이자 또또 보겠네. 대바지도 자나 리라보지 아야지.
And if we think about this, then this outer situation of that causes of that dirt being the true origins, this mirrors the origin of suffering within our mind. And of course, the suffering, the unwholesome states that we experience within our mind, these are rooted in the afflictions. So this is the way that outer situation mirrors the inner situation of true origins within the Four Noble Truths.
어떤 야다 노진 안 놀래 여보 제키나 타마 개샤네 차소 그수도 때좀 봐. 괜히 차소 좀 와요. 차소나 철로 좀 잡아 놓지 놀아요. 너무 비더 아니 담아다 요하라 와서 좀 차소 somebody 무대 토픽 사다 버터에 근데 지세 요하래.
Gokten Topsaris. And then when we are engaging in this practice of cleaning the place of practice and arranging the holy representations of body, speech, and mind, if once we kind of are cleaning the outer environment and the place is clean, then we can think that just as the outer environment is clean, so my mind is clean or purified, then this is like a similar experience to a true cessation. So it reminds us within the Four Noble Truths of true cessations.
다 손지 쪼대는 좀 멀리 예비가랑 소지가 기초 가시 할 레비 지니 때문에 아마 더 봐. 그 사람 뭐제 담아 사토벌을 해. 로토벌은 로토바. 그 사람 와서 어따 내가 뭐 든지 지내라. 그 사람 와서 도물 로토바 든지 쉬어야 돼.
And so it was through simple practices like this that students of Buddha Shakyamuni who were not able to remember the teachings, were not particularly sharp, they couldn't even remember like 2 words of instructions. Through thinking in these simple ways, they were able to achieve a high level of practice. They were able to make tremendous spiritual progress.
어떤 데서 들리지 자 가빙원이 시이 샤와이나 주마 농게 세미나 주마 차야 난주 강가 가빙원이 내가 해야 돼 아니 니가를 펴봐 다들 펴봐 강가 옆으로 돼 이자
So please engage in this way, and then on the basis of this, then happily engage in the pure activities of purification of your dharma practice, in the purification of your mind, and please proceed in this way for happiness.
야 다시 들어가.
All right. Thank you very much. I will end here.